It is time once again for the weekly and monthly closes of our favorite Bitcoin miners. But before we get going, check out Capital Curiosities. They've got a new video dropping here today in about an hour. It's Germany's Enron, the Wirecard fraud. They're going to be talking about that in the upcoming video here. It's a real fun channel. I've been thoroughly enjoying the stories that they tell. Anyways, go ahead and check that out. Link is in the description, and let's get going. So, CleanSpark. We're going to start with CleanSpark. We're going to look at the weekly and monthly here, and then I think we're going to also look a little bit at some seasonality. So this one's going to get a little bit longer than usual just because of the fact that it is going to be weekly, monthly, and we'll take a quick look at some seasonalities. All right, anyways. The weekly on CleanSpark was bad. It was bad. The BX Trender says it's bad. The volume is still looking okay, but the RSI says that it's bad. So when only one oscillator says things are good, it's not necessarily good. We closed beneath the previous two candles and their wicks. We almost went for the body of this third week back here. This looks like a breakdown. We could easily, if Bitcoin decides to dip to $100,000, which I talked about in the previous video today, go ahead and watch that one. We are likely going to come back down and test about 773 or so, which means you're going to get your chance on the CleanSpark warrants, maybe even some other things here. And of course, nothing I say is financial advice and not a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. The things I do are for entertainment and informational purposes only. Always do your own research, come to your own conclusions, and be responsible for your own risk. Anyways, yeah, this is a blow off top right here. Let me turn off all the drawings. Last week, this big, disgusting wick. Actually, I'm going to turn off everything. Hide all. This last week wick, this gravestone doji right there, that was your warning shot over the bow. Okay? That meant bad things were coming. All right? Just like back here, when you had the gravestone doji at the bottom of the move, kind of with the body, the tiny body near the top, that was your signal things were going to fly. We got two gravestones. One very, very much a doji. This one here was telling us that things were bad. This one right here was also kind of that one that's looking bullish, and price did go way above it before coming. Like, it went down big first, but then it did go end up above it. But who knows? Can't always be correct. But this one was definitely a warning shot over the bow, saying things are going to get rough. I do think we could come back down to that low $7 range here pretty soon if Bitcoin dips to 95,000. So be ready for that in the first 2 weeks of June, and then potentially to fly later in the summer. All right. So the weekly close looks terrible. Okay, it's bad. Let's look at the month. How did the month of May go? The month of May gave us let me turn everything off, a gravestone doji. It gave us a gravestone doji. I hate that. Looks exactly like this candle from the top back here in May 2024. This is the exact same candle we got in May 2024, which was preceded by what? 2 months of more doji, with moves up to just the top of that wick. So if we cannot get above this month or next month, if we cannot get above $11.15, I'm going to have some bad news for you on CleanSpark. And I might be exiting my positions if we cannot get above 11.15 in June or at the first 2 weeks of July. So, all right, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to draw something on my chart right now for that. Let's see, is that here? No. I'm going to draw this first 2 weeks of July. Vertical line, I'm going to put an alert on here. So I'm going to go to June 1, August. Where's July? Okay. Oh, this is a monthly. That's why. Let's go to a weekly. All right. I want to see first week of July, second week of July. Let's go to Monday the 21st. All right. Monday the 21st is the absolute last day I'm willing to hold this if it's not trading above $11.15. Okay. I'm going to put an alert on here. And I'm going to say crossing. Yeah, just crossing. Vertical line. Sure. CLSK. Over 11.15. If not, sell. And I'm going to put that right here. Boom. So this alert, and I'm going to lock it down so it doesn't move. Yeah, it's already locked down. So Monday, July 21st. If we're not trading above $11.15, I'm going to be selling a significant portion of my CleanSpark because it is not performing and I'm not holding losers. All right. That's how that's going to go. If you don't like that, that's too bad. Make your own decisions. Don't follow me. I mean, don't follow me anyways, but anyways, let's see, at least not into trades. So this here, let me go ahead and turn off my drawings. This monthly formation that we're looking at I got to turn my drawings back on. I have too many. All right. This formation right here is looking very reminiscent of this 2020 formation here. Okay. If we can't get above $18. All right, that's the next one. If we can't get above $18 on CleanSpark, that is a major, major, major problem. Okay, notice how CleanSpark has been constantly making lower highs over and over again. Lower high, highest high was in 2018, then a lower high in 2020, and then an even lower high in February 2024. Okay, if we cannot close above $18 this summer, I want to see $18 be touched. I don't care if it comes back down, but I want to see it get above $18. If we cannot clear that in the summer run, I'm going to be very, very critical of CleanSpark going forward. Okay, so I want to see that happen. That's got to happen, because otherwise we are just following this exact same trajectory, and we end up back down at $1.94 again, which is right here, and we end up there before the end of 2025. And if that happens, that's it. That's it for the stock. I will never touch it again. Like, I'm just going to be done with it, because it is constantly making lower highs. It is not getting to where I need it to be. And I don't care. I don't care what it's doing. I'm just not interested in anymore at that point. And I know this was very critical of a stock that I have a decent amount of money in, but that's why I'm critical of them. Okay. All right. So we need to see by the end of the second week of July, right? Or that Monday morning, July 21st, we need to see above $11.11 or 15 cents, $11.15. If we don't get it, I'm going to start making cuts. If the summer run cannot get over $18, if it can't do it, I will be making cuts. If it can do it, I'll hold. But I will watch for, I may cut a little bit in the summer run anyways, take some profit, like 30% or something, to get my cost basis back, and then wait for that September low, which we'll look at here in a second. So let's look at some seasonality real quick on CleanSpark. Okay, so this is 2020 to 2021. We don't want, we'll just do 2020. Well, that's the last cycle. Okay, 2020. It's a little hard to see these because they're really small. I wish they were a little bit bigger. Let me maybe turn that off. Does that help? Not really. I wish I could zoom in on this thing. I can't though, can I? Kind of, I guess. All right. Okay. Anyways, so 2020 is red. This one right here in the middle. 2020. No, wait, that's 2024. 2020 is this one down here, right? Where things were like kind of like flopping around. And we had that big sell off early in the year. Okay. And then 2023 is like the purple one. You know what? I really hate this. Let me go back. All right. Let's just show you 2020. The last time. All right. So yeah, we had that big sell off throughout the majority of the year, and then around June is where things picked up. All right. That should be something reminiscent of 2024. Let's bring 2024. Nope. 2024 we shot up early in the year. We stayed high, fluctuating hard between, whatever this price was here, about 35% up and 100% up or more for the year, and then around July, after that summer run, we had that huge dump all the way into September, and then we finally started climbing back up into November, where we got another huge dump. We're looking at something like that. Like, this is a gross chart, honestly. 2024 was disgusting. So let's take a look at 2021. 2021 is going to be the closest to where we are right now. So let's go to 2021. Let's just bring up 2021. Okay, only 2021. That's a gross chart. All right, 2021. Let's see, June. Yeah, okay, so around June, we had that little bump up into mid-June, and then we were just down, all the way until September. And then around late September, then we got that bump up. We were still negative on the year, but we got that bump up. And then crater. All right, so we are looking for a June run, right? Maybe June, July run for a bit. Maybe not as high as the previous high that we got in February, because we didn't get that last time either. Now, it may go higher, it may not. I'll be watching closely. And then we're looking for, from whatever peak we get right now, we're looking for it to drop off basically until September and then come back up from there. Let's take a look at 2022. How'd 2022 go? Let's take a look. Is that the right one? Is it? Yeah, 2022. 2022, we had that run up into March and then fall off into June and July, and then we didn't get a little pop till August, and then the rest of the year was just a sell-off. But that was the winter. We're not in the winter. What about 2023? 2023 was the year after the bottoming of the winter. Let's see, we got June. It climbed up real high until July, and then it sold off basically until October, and then flattened out until mid-November, and then took off. And this year, Yeah, this year we had basically flatness through the first part of the year, complete drop off, and then we started to climb right now, and now we're coming into this area here. We are following a little bit. I wish I could draw here, but we are right down here from April. We are getting a bit of a trend line going up. We should probably reverse where we are right now, start climbing up and retake this high here at 6.98% up. We should get something higher than that very, very soon. If not, if not, things are going to go badly for us. Okay. Anyways, that is CleanSpark. Can I not get that to work? Whatever. Uh, that's CleanSpark. It's not looking great. The monthly though. Okay, so the monthly is looking okay. The monthly, the BX trender is a light red. The volume is going away from negative and is going gray, which is good. And the RSI is trying to curl up. Those are good things. Those are all good signs. So I would like to see it go over 11.15. I needed to get over 11.15 by the first or the third week, the beginning of the third week of July. Otherwise, I'm going to be very, very critical of CleanSpark going forward at that point. Okay, so keep that in mind. And it's always important. Always be critical of your trades. Don't get married to any of your trades. You're not getting married to any of your trades. These are trades. These are not long holds, especially these Bitcoin miners, and especially near the end of the cycle. These are not long holds at this point. We are running out of time. Everything, every move that is against what you need it to be should be something that you are critical of. Okay? Analyze it closely. Accept nothing but excellence from these things. If they're not performing, they're not performing. It's time to go. So CleanSpark warrants also gave us a gravestone on the week. Let me turn off my drawings. Let's take a look at the month. How'd the month go? I think the month was a lot nicer. Yeah, the month was pretty good. This gives me hope because the CleanSpark warrants are basically like call options, and if those are going well, that means that there is interest in it going up or anticipation of it going up, even if the underlying is still climbing downward. Okay. We had this bottoming candle in April, and then May was pretty good. The only thing I don't like is that we didn't close above 51 cents. We got that wick above it, though, so I don't hate that. That wick above it's not bad. We did close above 50% above this big red candle here. I really would have liked an engulfing this month. That would have been great. If we can, in June, if we can close above 65 cents on the warrants, I'll be feeling really good about the warrants if we could do that. Okay. All right, let's go back to the weekly. I'm going to go ahead and close that one out because I don't need that right now. Okay. All right, let's go back to the weekly and let's look at Mara. How's Mara doing? So exactly the same as CleanSpark in terms of it's falling out of this channel, this up channel here. It could, if it follows Bitcoin, I would expect it to come back to about $12 here right now in the next couple of weeks before shooting back up to hopefully around 20. That's the hope. The BX trender on the weekly looks bad. It's getting lower. The volume is going the right way, but the RSI is going the wrong way. So that's all bad there. Let's take a look at the monthly real quick. Monthly on Mara. Turn off all my drawings. So we got a doji, which could be also looking like a gravestone doji for the month. So we wicked up, came all the way down. Now we did close above the previous month, which is good. It's good. I really wanted to see us close above 1538 though. That would have been really what we needed to see out of Mara to really feel confident about this move. The fact that we're getting held underneath all of these moving averages right here, the 50 month, the 21 month, and the 9 month is not, that's bad news. And the fact that we consistently get pushed beneath the 200 month anytime we get above it is also bad news. So what do we need to see from this one here going forward? So going forward, by the end of the second week of July, we need to be above $17. Otherwise, Mara is not going to be doing very good. All right. I really want to see at some point it take out $30 here, preferably in the summer run. That would be ideal. If it could take it out in the summer run, that would be ideal. I'd really like to see it take that out. Okay, at $30 in the summer run. If not, I'm going to be a little bit critical of Mara, but it's not going to be out of the game if it can't. Like, I'd really like in the summer run, I really like it to see it at least just hit 25. 25 is like the lowest mark for the summer run. If it cannot hit 25 in the summer run, I'm going to be very critical of Mara. Okay, and this is also playing the exact same game that CleanSpark is. So if we go back here and we look at here, Marathon Digital has made a lower high every single time. This is not a stock to hold long term. This is not a stock to get married to. This is a play the cycles, play the fluctuations, and let it go kind of stock. Okay, see all the way back here in 2012, right? It made a high of $235, and then in 2014 it made a high of $160, and then in 2016 it made a high of $55, and then in November 17 we made a high of what, $41. We did get in 2021 a decent high of 59, and then one little peak of 82. So that was a nice little thing there. But then in 20 24, right? High of $31. So do not expect us to eclipse much more than like 40 or 50 bucks on Mara this time around at all. Don't expect it. I wouldn't expect it to go any higher than that, really, honestly, because of and it's mostly due to dilution. So I'm watching this thing closely. They are making lower highs every time, so I would be looking at maybe coming up to like around like 50, and that's where I'd be like, I'm done with Mara. It could go its highs at once after that. I'm not holding any risk past that for Mara. But you can look at the monthly. The BX trender is lighter red here. The volume still looks terrible. The RSI is trying to curl up. That's great. Let's take a look at some seasonalities real quick for Mara. Okay, 2020 was the last halving time. Yeah, right. We had that nice little move up. Let's see how 2024 compared to that. 2024 was disgusting and all over the place. Look at that thing, just all over on 2024. Way different from 2020, which was the previous halving year. Way different. Look at that. Just way different. Okay, let's take a look at 2021, which would be more akin to this year. 2025. Okay, so around May, June. Around June, it just started climbing and did not stop climbing until November last time. So that's what we want to see, this nice climbing up. We can have some troughs, but they need to hold a trend line. And then as soon as we broke that trend line, it was kind of done. But like we want to see a move up. Like this was from May all the way through November up, right? And then the year after, it was just down. So 2026, expected to just be down. That's my expectations. Let's go 2023 and 2024 and 2025. Let's get those three on here. So far we are really following 2023 and not 2025. Or 2024 at all. We're very, well, actually it's not too bad. It's not too bad. We could be more like 2024, get a peak in July, a trough in September, and then another peak in November. Watch for that. This is actually following it pretty closely. And then 2023 is, oh, it's actually the purple one. 2023 looks like this. Wow, that was really good by comparison. Okay, that's the seasonality on Mara. Let's go ahead and take a look at Iren. So let's go look at the weekly on Iren real quick. I sold out of my calls on Iren. I was up about 70%, and I've been burned by this one before. This feels like a toppy candle that we just got last week. Really didn't like it, so I sold out on Friday. This could be the base. I could be wrong. Could be the base. Could come down to here, which I think it'll probably come out. You can see the year out here, but I decided to cut early. So I would like to see a cup and handle come out of this thing. Like you can see we had a falling wedge. We broke out of that, and we got our second angle here. We violate the second angle. We're going to come to the first angle. But if we hold the first angle, we get something of a cup and handle here. Boom, hit the handle, and then take off. But the thing that pisses me off about Iren with that is it's done a really beautiful cup and handle before, right here, and then just fell right off a cliff. And then it did like a decent cup and handle right here, went up just a little bit more, and then fell off a cliff. So it is not true to its cup and handle formation. So I'm not too excited about that. I wouldn't be surprised if we came back and tested right now about 672 with the Bitcoin dip down to 95,000. Now, on the weekly, the BX trend is still pushing green. All right. The volume just flipped green. The RSI is teetering at 50. So all the technicals are pointing the right way. But I do think Bitcoin has another few days of sell-off, which Iren could see as a dramatic drop-off down to about 731, maybe even to 650. And since I'm playing with options, that would have wiped me out. All right, so that's why I sold, because I'm in options, and options that wipe you out. A dollar move down is basically going to take 60% off the top. And when that's all the profit I have, I'd rather just wait and see if I can get it back at the same price it was before. So that, or if it goes above 970, I'll buy those options back for a higher cost and ride it all the way up to 16 bucks and just make a little less profit. It's not that big a deal. I already made my 60%. I'm okay. I can wait a little bit. All right. Let's take a look at the monthly. How's the monthly looking? The monthly is actually looking really good. Let me turn this off here. This monthly is actually pretty good. It's actually one of the better charts I've seen on the monthly. So the only reason I was really thinking about and did sell it was because I saw that Bitcoin had a chance to go down right now due to the formations and due to the liquidity. So I'm looking for Bitcoin to do a little dip, this to come back down about right here for a week or two, and then maybe in June, if this can stack, if the June candle can stack here, we could even see June closing up in like the $12, maybe even $13 range. That's not bad, especially since if I come in here and I draw a line, my favorite thing to do, if I draw a line along the bottoms, let's see where are we at, about right there. We're holding that line. on the monthly. We're holding that line. This is like the ultimate outline down right here. Like if this gets crossed, that's it. Let's go crossing down. And you know what? I'm just going to type out, create. Like that's it. It goes underneath that. It's done. That's like the mega trend line. And we did go beneath it and just wicked and then came right back up. And that can happen. That can happen. That's the worst thing. Like your stop loss gets tapped like that and then boom, it's gone. The monthly looks good. It's going higher on the monthly. The volume doesn't look so good though, but the RSI is pointing up. So that's good. Let's take a look at some seasonality on Iren. So is me selling my options like a recommendation to sell anything? No, of course, nothing I do is a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. The only reason I sold was because I'm holding options. If I was holding shares, I would not have options because a dollar move on the options would have wiped me out pretty badly. So I sold to let it reset and see what's going to happen. Okay. Anyways, look at the seasonality. So this is where we are in the seasonality right there. Boom. Most years here, we see a little bit of a flat or a dip for another few days here, except which one is that? 2022? Yeah, except 2022, which honestly, we'll just go to 2023 newer because 2022, I believe, is when the stocks began. And the other 2 years that we've got on here were, after like a halving year and then the year after the winter. Anyways, this is about the time in the year where we see a drive up into about the first week of July, and then that. So we could see a little bit of further dip here the first week of June, and then I'm looking at Iren to drive up into July, and then drop off until about September, maybe even October, and then sometime around early November or late October, I'm expecting another drive higher on Iren. Okay, that's what I'm looking at there. All right, let's move on to Riot. Riot for the weekly is looking 1 week on Riot is. Again, disgusting. The BX trend looks bad. The volume is kind of okay, but the RSI is pointing straight down. That's bad. Okay, a Riot, you really need to see it above 10 bucks. Riot's got to get above 10 bucks. And if Riot goes beneath 736, well, then it's going to come all the way back to the bottom at 620. That's it. That's all there is to it. All right. That's basically the technicals on Riot right now. Okay, let's look at the monthly real quick. The monthly is gross. This is bad. All right, so we had a doji, and then we had a big rejection off the 21-month moving average coming all the way back down to the lows, basically. BX Trender is a lighter red, so that's not bad. The volume is okay. The RSI is trying to point up, but like that's a bad candle. I don't like that. I really don't like Riot, to be honest. And if you've noticed here since 2023, it's just been making lower highs consistently over and over again. So on Riot this time, I would not expect a high over $13 on Riot. I would not expect in any way a high above $13 coming this summer, and then in the blow off top, maybe 33 at like high. That'd be like the heater is on for Riot. And again, same scenario as before, constantly making lower highs through the future. So again, I wouldn't expect this to go more than 13 for the summer run at most, and then for the biggest blow off top I can see on this thing is about $33 for Riot in like the biggest, best scenario this year. Okay. And we can look at seasonality if you want real quick. Seasonalities. Yeah, we're here. So a couple of years it's driving down, which is, we'll go past the 2022 because I don't really care to see that one right now. Yeah. So most years it's kind of flat. The only good year was 2023. Where it like took off, and like you can see even on this lower one right here, it does like a scoop out into September, and then November it drives higher. 2022 is lower. Boom, there we go. Yeah, and then for the end of the year, yeah, we get a little bit of a pump and then a dump near the very last week of the year again. So yeah, we're getting into that seasonality where we're gonna get a bit of a drive up, followed by a dip, followed by another dip into September, followed by another drive up. All right, so yeah, that's it. Let's take a look at, and then basically all the seasonalities are going to look the same from that now. So I'm probably going to stop looking at the seasonalities now because they're all basically the same there from that. Now that you've seen a couple and you've seen how they're basically all the same, that's basically all we're looking at. We're going to get a little dip for a week or two from here, and then a drive up for the summer, and then a big dip into September, October, and then another drive into late October, November. All right. Let's take a look at the weeklies. How are the weeklies going on Bitdigital? Bitdigital is actually still driving higher. As long as Bitdigital is holding this line right here, right now it can go as low as $2.20. As long as it holds above $2.20, Bitdigital has a chance to go higher. I see it getting to about 348 or so. And of course, that hinges entirely on Ethereum right now. Ethereum needs to perform. If Ethereum can't perform, we go beneath 220 again. It's coming all the way back down to 170. Okay. If we can hold, we can drive as high as about 350, and then we will need some sort of other catalyst to drive higher. Btdigital is doing a different path. You've seen since 2023, we're getting higher highs every time we get a high. So if we get a higher high now, I wouldn't be surprised to see it hit 620 at the highest. And then in the summer, for the summer run, 620 would be my highest anticipation. And then for like the blow off top, maybe $13 for Btdigital at the highest. And that's that. And right now, I wouldn't be surprised to see sometime before the end of the year it was come back down to $2 or lower on Btdigital. The weekly BX trender is growing larger green. That's great. The volume is getting smaller to the downside and starting to grow to the upside. That is good. And the RSI is looking not so good, so that's not great. But 2 out of 3 isn't bad. So as soon as RSI starts to curl up, and you can see the monthly RSI is curling up, so that's actually really good. The BX trender on the monthly is looking good, but the volume is not looking great. So we got 2 out of 3 on each side here. If we look at the monthly candle, I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's right at the 50. So I really needed to see it above the 50 mark on this candle right here. So like if we go right here to here, like we are above it. Hey, we are above it. We're above the 50 mark. So that's good, actually. I like that. I like that. So we have room up to about like 289 here this month to stack that candle. That's candle stacks. We got like a bottoming candle here in April. That's pretty good. Yeah, about 350, 364 is about all I'm willing to say I'd be looking at for the summer run, and then maybe for the blow off end of the year. With 620 being like the highest high, and then for the blow off end of the year, 620 would be my low, and about $13 would be my high, which is a wide range. But I mean, what do you want me to tell you? These things are volatile. I can't give you a tight window sometimes, especially when things have been so manipulated up and down lately. All right, let's take a look at Bitfarms. Bitfarms, big disappointment. Oh yeah, so Bitfarms, unlike Btdigital, did not hold its line, and it broke its line. So Bitfarms has been on the downtrend for a while. Bitfarms, the BX trender looks bad. The RSI looks bad on the weekly. This is bad. Bitfarms looks like garbage. I'm not gonna lie. It looks like garbage. I would avoid this thing at all costs right now. Could it turn? Yeah. I mean, if it gets above 120, you've got room all the way up to 170. Not a big move, but it's there. If we close next week underneath $1, you better believe we're going to come back and test at least 83 cents, maybe all the way back down to 69 cents. Okay. If this proves to be a double bottom, we can move up to 170. That's where we hit heavy resistance. Don't expect it to crush 170 easily at all. In fact, I'm willing to say that the summer run on this 170 might be the high, potentially $2 at a highest high, at like a euphoric high for the summer run. And as you can see here on the weekly, we've been making since 2024 early 2024 lower highs consistently, unlike Btdigital, lower highs over and over and over and over again. So don't expect higher than $2 on this thing anytime soon. And if you get higher than $2 on this thing, I would be very critical of how much higher it could go. And even if it does crush $2, don't look higher than this box here. Like this is like the highest I'd expect anything to go on Bitfarms right now. There's no institutional interest in this at all. This is entirely retail driven, and retail is easily demoralized. So watch that carefully. Let's take a look at Bitfarms on the monthly. How's the monthly? The monthly looks bad. This is the only red one I've seen so far. Yeah, this looks terrible. I don't like this at all. This looks like a pause before a continued pause. Like, yeah, this candle's bad. This is all bad. Yeah, I just hate this. Everything looks bad on the monthly for Bitfarms. Nothing to report of any hope there. All right, Cifr. Ooh, I also don't like this chart. Okay, Cifr came up, hit the 21 week, and is rejecting, and it is holding at this support level. But if we lose 284, we come all the way back down to 231. Okay, the BX trender got redder. That's bad. The volume is bad. The RSI is pointing down. Cifr looks bad. Okay, we're following this trend line down here. Do I have that? This trend line, yeah. And then this one broke to the upside, but we're looking at like this one right here. We're following that down. So even if we go up, we could get rejected at 438 and come all the way back down to the bottom. Okay, so watch that carefully. Watch carefully. Everything looks bad on Cifr. So let's take a look at the 1 month. Turn off all my drawings again. Big volume. Man, we had a huge volume spike this month, and we couldn't crush the 21 month. We just got slapped right back down. Oof. The BX trender for the month is getting smaller. The volume is getting redder. The RSI is still under 50 for the monthly. This is bad. This is a bad candle. We really see June must eclipse this candle, must engulf this candle to the upside and go above $4. June must go above $4 for Cifr. Otherwise, Cifr is going to have a very, very bad time. Okay? It must go over $4. Okay? Anyways, Cifr warrants. Look at Corz. How's Corz doing? 1 week. Corz actually looks really good. This is a really good chart. I like this a lot. Okay. Turn this. Yeah, we're holding this line. As long as we're holding this line, I have so many lines on here going sideways. Yeah, well, this is the zone right here. This blue line, this white line here. That white line there is the bottom. Let me go ahead and get rid of that. I don't think I need that anymore right now. That's the next level. Okay. We're holding above the 21 week. We're creating a bull flag right here. We're holding this line. As long as we're holding this line, Corz is going to move up to 13.24 before it hits resistance. And then if it crushes that, we're going to fly real quick up to about $16, $17. Okay. That's pretty cool. I do think even if we crack this line, we could wick as low as about 942 and still be in a bullish move here very easily on Corz. The BX trender looks good. The volume looks really good. And the RSI, while flat, is above 50 on the weekly. So Corz actually looks really good for a move back up to about 16 bucks. Let's look at the monthly on Corz. Oh, yeah, that's good. That's a nice chart. Yeah. Look at this, like, boom, boom. We got a little gap up there. If we close June above 1182, it's on. It is on for Corz to maybe even go for the all-time high. So yeah, Corz looks great. I like that. I like that Corz chart. Same thing with the warrants, I'm sure. Yep, exact same thing on their warrants. And I would be looking at the warrants potentially, and then Corz or even options calls. And yeah, 141% on the warrants. Boom, up to there. That would be, that's very possible. I like Corz a lot. And if we look at the warrants on Cifr, it's looking like, yeah, we could double bottom down here at about 18 cents and then drive up to like $2 maybe, but nothing guaranteed. Anyways, Wulf not looking so hot either, looking very much like Cifr. Came up to the 50 week and rejected, but it is holding at the 9. So Wulf, if Wulf closes next week beneath 342, we are going to come back and test probably 271. If we can close the week above 418, we're going to run for about $5 where the 200 week moving average is waiting for us. BX trender is getting bigger to the green side. Volume is getting closer and closer to being positive, and RSI is it's moving up, but it is currently curling down this week because this week was such a bad week there. Look at the monthly. I don't hate this. Not bad. This is a bottoming candle. If we can close June above 4, honestly, if we can close June above 461, I'm feeling pretty good. Otherwise, I would be expecting a retest of like around that $273 range for Wulf. BX trender doesn't look very good here. Volume is bad on the monthly, but RSI is pointing up. So like there's a tiny glimmer of hope in here. And if we do this, do I have that? Yeah, right here. This like, here's the like ultimate trend line right here. This is the ultimate trend line right there. We tapped it. The other month we tapped it. Go ahead. Yeah, we tapped it there. Boom, and bounced off of it. Like, yeah, whenever things are in like a free fall like this, go into the monthly chart and draw like an ultimate trend line from the bottoms. And when it taps that, that's probably time to buy. And that's probably as low as it's going to go. And maybe with a slight wick beneath, and that's about it. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the next one. Hut. How's Hut looking? Hut. There we go. Hut. A little bit. It's looking a lot like Corz, honestly. We came up above. We're holding above the crucial lines here, above the crucial moving averages. Now, this was an ugly candle last week with an engulfing red to the previous week, but BX trender still held a green. Like if we zoom way in on the BX trender, you can see it went higher. The volume is looking good, and the RSI, while it is curling over, could be a bit of a flag before going higher. So I'm actually not too upset about this. This is looking like a bull flag. So in order for this to confirm, we need to get above $18. If HUT can get above $18 in the next week or two, I'm feeling very good about it making a move up to about $25. If it closes where it currently is or lower, then we're looking for a move back down to about $12 on HUT, and that is how that's going to play out. All right, let's take a look at the monthly. Yeah. Monthly, not bad. It looks a lot like the others where it could go either way. I gave you the levels. You got to watch those. And then let's draw this line down here. Oh, I have a line down there already. So this channel is the ultimate bottom. We came back, tapped it, right? And then we're moving back. Now the highest high I want to see on this thing is a move up to about $27 here, maybe for summer, maybe for the end of the year. We'll see. But again, same trend. Everything makes a lower high on the Bitcoin miners over time. So do not expect a high to really eclipse. Well, at least, sorry, do not expect a high to eclipse $82. I would be looking for a high around 41, maybe around 57 for HUT this cycle, like the blow off top period of time. Okay. That's my expectation. Let's take a look at the 1 week for Hive. How's Hive doing? Hive is actually it's climbing out of this. Oh, it's looking like Bit Farms. I hate that. Oh, Hive came up and it's going to come down again. Yeah. So if Hive closes where it currently, if Hive cannot get above next week or the week after, within 2 weeks, if it cannot get above 216, we are looking at Hive to either stay in this range between 178 and 216, or if it drives any lower, then let me find a nice big candle here. If it drives any lower than, yeah, if it drives any lower than where it is, we're coming all the way down to 144. Okay, and on the upside, we have room up to about 268 if we can cross 218, 268 to potentially 283. There's the upside on the weekly. BX trender is looking good, volume's looking good, but RSI is looking not great, but not terrible. Very neutral on the RSI looking. Let's go to the month. The RSI looks like it's trying to recover there. It's trying to come up. That's good. That's a good sign. We got this candle's kind of gross here for the monthly though. That really long wick on top. I hate that. Like, how long is that wick? How much percent is that wick? That is a 16% wick. Yeah, that's gross. That's bad. That's not a good sign. So I'd be not looking at Hive right now for this week or next week. I'd be waiting maybe 2 weeks before I'd be looking at Hive. I wouldn't be surprised to see Hive come back and test this low here about 140 again before trying to break out and come up to about $4. And that's about it for Hive. Okay, let's move on to Can. Can still looks terrible. Can still looks terrible. It's making... Can looks like it wants to make a lower low. Can looks gross. I don't even need to say anything else about this. This is a terrible chart. This is disgusting. Everything is bad. There's nothing good about this chart right now. Monthly, yeah, this is the lowest low it's made on a monthly. This could go to zero. Honestly. So Can is bad. Can looks bad. It looks really bad. And you knew it was going to go bad as soon as you saw this candle here in December 2024 with this huge wick on top. That was the signal that things were going to go disgusting for you. I'm not even going to do any more about that because that's just bad. That's just all bad. So look at Btdr. How's Btdr doing? Btdr. Okay, so Btdr looks a lot like Corz as well. We came up, we're making a bull flag. Now the BX trender says that momentum is starting to fall off for Btdr. That sucks. Volume is looking good though. RSI is above 50. It's tapping 50 from above. If we can get a flip around next week, if next week we can close above $15.31, I'm feeling very good about Btdr up to about $23. Okay, if we close next week anywhere beneath these moving averages, which is anywhere beneath 1267 or 1255, then I'm looking for a move back down to $10 on Btdr. So watch that very, very carefully. Okay, let's go to the 1 month. The 1 month, this isn't bad. It's not bad. We're above the 50% on this big red candle here. If we can close again next month, if we close above 1385, all-time highs are in sight. If we can't, then we might be just piddling around between like maybe $18 and like $10 for a while. Maybe indefinitely. Well, I don't know. We'll see. But if we can close the month, if we can get above like that $14, yeah, we got a real shot at running up to like 22, 25, maybe even like the highs again for Btdr, sorry, not HUT, Btdr. All right, so Luna, the gamble, the lotto ticket is looking just as bad as Can, so I'm not interested. Not interested in adding to this. I'm still holding because I didn't buy very much. I mean, it takes 200% just to get back to the 9-month moving average at $1.85, which is way below the $3 where I bought it. Okay, it's way below the $3 where I started buying it. I didn't buy it till I bought it around, like the lowest I started buying was here. Okay, and the highest I bought was like 360. My average is like 2 something. If we hit the 21 month on this thing, we're looking at 1,000%. That would be pretty cool. Could it happen? Yeah, it could happen, but I would not bet the farm on it. Don't do that. Don't be a maniac. This thing doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. The weekly is gross. On the weekly, if we could get a return to the 50-week, we'd be looking at a move of about 374%, but that would just take me back to 285, which is not even where I started buying. So yeah, this thing is not going to work out for me, I don't think. I think the highest that this could happen in a euphoric state is probably about $10, which would be 1,000x from here, which would only be a 300 from where I bought it. The highest thing would maybe be $13. Tap the 50-week or the 100-week, tap the 100-week, and then just like completely collapse over, which would coincide with touching the bottom back over here on the left. Yeah, it would coincide with touching the bottoms from back here in 2015. All right. So Luna probably not going to come back. The highest you could expect is maybe a move up to $13 in like the most euphoric state where a hedge fund got a hold of it and decided to toy with it. That would be the highest high you can expect. This again is still very much a lotto ticket. This is not a fundamental play in any way. This is not even nearly as good as the other miners. It is purely, will a hedge fund decide to make this thing a plaything for a week and drive it up to $13 just because they can, and then let it immediately deflate hours later. Like that's the only hope for this thing. So anyways, that's all I've got for you today. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video, check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description, as well as the channel bio. Do not sleep on Capital Curiosities. They've got some great videos out there, and have a profitable day.